Chloe wants the host's take on Elevatorgate. Let's talk to Chloe. Chloe, you are on with Jimmy, but more importantly, Dan and Forrest. Chloe?
I am
Chloe
so
going
sorry.
once.
Sorry.
Hey,
right.
Hello?
Chloe, are you in this or not?
I'm here. I should be.
Yes.
There we
All
go.
right.
Okay.
So go ahead, expand. What do you want to know about Elevatorgate?
No. I was there and witnessed it. For me, it was a moment of massive disillusionment with the atheist community. And I was wondering if there were, now that we're about 15 years away from it, if there's any sort of reflection or any sort of take to be remembered from it. For me, it was just like that first moment I realized maybe the atheist community wasn't for me.
What
Well,
happened?
so for those who aren't aware, Elevatorgate is a thing that happened with a content creator. I believe it was Skepchick was her name. And this was a conference that happened in 2011 where I think I don't remember the details exactly, but basically there was I think accusations of being harassed on an elevator at this conference. And this is at the time where an atheist community is like debating whether like we should be calling ourselves feminists and stuff, right? There's a lot of this kind of discourse about like treating women in the space and stuff. And there's a lot of pushback as to whether or not, how legitimate these kinds of terms are and stuff. Obviously, that was just a bullshit time in the atheist world. That was before any three of us were even content creators in the space, right? I was in high school when that happened.
Christian.
So I was a Christian in high
know.
school. So it's like, yeah, absolutely. That's a shitty time. It's a shitty time to be a woman. It's a shitty time to be a woman at any time, but especially in the atheist space online. Fuck people that didn't believe women and fuck people that, aren't okay with talking about the stuff that we do today, which I think the space is much more progressive in that respect. There's a lot more I would say, women content creators that are making stuff in the space, and I think are treated better. But I say that at the same time, I'm friends with many of them, and I see their comment sections compared to mine and Forrest's and Jimmy, and it's like it's still not the same. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but it is better, and I think it's something that's still worth addressing. So I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah, I would not, I have not, to my knowledge, nor would I ever participate with any atheist show or network or community that is not fundamentally feminist in its values, that does not support LGBTQIA plus people, that it does not support BIPOC people, that does not stand up for people of color, that does not advocate for social progress, that is not, trying to build a better future for the world. If it's just content creators that are out there just to argue and get clicks, I don't usually interact with them or work with them. And certainly if somebody's going to be regressive, or if somebody isn't going to believe women when they come out and say that something happened to them, or if someone's going to argue about whether or not they should be considered feminists, I wouldn't have anything to do with them. But I again, as Dan pointed out, I wasn't around at that time either. As far as the idea of whether or not the atheist community is as a whole is a safe place. The atheist community is united only by the fact that we don't believe in God. There are good atheists, bad atheists, cool atheists, shitty atheists, Republican atheists, Democrat atheists. There's atheists of all colors and stripes and classes and creeds and blah, blah, blah. But I think the community that we as content creators build and facilitate is what's most important. And that's why there are plenty of atheist creators out there that I will not work with. And I'm not going to sit here and name names, but I have specifically requested people that I know that know those people as well. Just don't bring these people around me. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Chloe, how do you feel about those responses? Reflections from you?
Oh, perfect. I think that means that the work has been done. That the old ideas, like, because for me, and I just want to give you a quick background. For me, what was disillusioning to me was that I had seen that conversation happen in more or less better terms happen among fans and fandom communities.
Sure.
So when I saw it happen and the way that it did for the atheist community, it kind of hurt.
Yeah,
but
for
it
sure.
Seems like
It sounds like this was at a time when the cringy edgelords of the internet were still kind of the rulers of YouTube, where it's like if you threw an extra slur in your video just to get some extra rage comments, that was the thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is even before YouTube atheism. This is like blogging atheist spheres, right?
Jesus.
This was like at that time, like this is when the term atheist plus was being thrown around, because at the time, atheist commentators were talking more about social justice issues, and that was like kind of new. And people were like, "Hey, should we actually do that? Like, I thought we should just be talking about like the God thing." When like here we talk about that shit every week, right? Like we're that's become so much more normalized now. But at the time, it was like it was part of this bigger conversation, and why that was like such a big deal. But yeah, Chloe, I want to keep letting you speak to that, because we definitely want to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because for me, as someone who left the atheist community and was queer and is all these other things, and coming back into the space, I just wasn't sure. Has that work truly been done? And I do think that not only has the work been done, it was done well. It was done thoughtfully. Those who stayed behind, those who fought it out, those like Matt Dillahunty, which, got to give him credit, got to give credit to the longtime old heads who stuck it out and who have the scars to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
I think
Chloe,
I might have been misunderestimating on my part, so that's just where I'm going to go.
Chloe, did I read correctly that you are a theist, and that you left when you say you left the atheist community? So what was that trip like? And I don't mean to digress, but I just want to kind of get your I guess perspective or your experience. You were an atheist, and then you left the atheist community, and now you're a theist. And how did that happen?
So it happened because I lived my life. Because what happened was that when I left atheism, right, when Elevatorgate happened, and then I realized all of this was going on, and then I realized like being in the atheist community just wasn't for me. I wasn't tethered and married to the arguments for or against God, for or against the supernatural. I wasn't marinating in it. So when my friends would have experiences, my friends would talk about it. When I was introduced to it through social means, I wasn't really thinking like in those terms anymore. And I was more open to those ideas. And then once I opened up and realized there's a lot of gender feelings in this, that's when I left. That's when I was fully gone.
So, sure. So have you adopted a religion?
Yes, I'm Norse pagan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to understand, like, was being disillusioned with the behavior of prominent atheist figures, is that a causal event to you then picking up like supernatural beliefs, or are those different things? Because it sounds like what you're saying is that like there was the bunch of atheists were behaving shittily, and so I became a theist, and like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and to build upon that, because and I don't want to question your integrity or anything like that, Chloe, but I ask you, do you actually believe, or are you just practicing it? And I think that is, I'm kind of piggybacking on Forrest there. But yeah, did you leave? Did you leave and seek comfort somewhere else because you weren't happy with the atheists?
I didn't seek comfort. Comfort found me. It's one of those.
Okay. What does that mean?
Like what that means was that as I explored through my life, as I talked to other people, as I got involved with people who were theists, I did not have any intention of going theist. I had no intention of whatever. It's just that when I was exposed to it, I found comfort. I did not go seeking it. I was fine without that comfort. But after I found it, I realized I wanted it. It's like you stumble upon a restaurant in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a nice hole in the wall, and they've got an amazing enchilada. You didn't know it was there. You just wanted enchilada. Now you seek it out.
I just am curious, though. are you getting something from this newfound affiliation other than social acceptance? Or because when you say I was thinking about going theist, I mean, that's a little bit different. Going theist, I think would really happen if a belief fell upon you, right? Like I went atheist, but not because I wanted to be an atheist. I ended up going atheist because I could no longer believe. And so I would ask you, did that happen in reverse? Were you an atheist and then this Norse pagan religion was introduced to you and you found no other way to live your life than through the North pagan or in accordance with North paganism because you actually believed it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I actually
Okay.
believed it, because I had experiences with it.
Okay. So what's
it
your
would be
evidence
like
for Zeus and Thor?
Disillusionment in
Or
reverse.
not Zeus, pardon me. Odin.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
So what?
I don't know if that's what
evidence?
Chloe. I don't know if Chloe's interested in actually talking about that part of it. I think Chloe came in with a specific topic to talk about, and I just want to make sure. Chloe, are you okay with us taking this conversation about your beliefs, or were you happy with talking about the topic that we talked about?
Oh, I'm happy with either, but
Okay.
because
I just want to make sure that we're not like
questions
blindsiding you because you came in with a very specific query, and I want to make sure that we are answering that right.
Yeah, good
That's
call.
that's a very fair and generous thing to do. I appreciate that, Dan. And like, so that's because I would just launch into the same questions I would have for anybody. If somebody calls in about God, or if somebody calls in about Odin, I have the exact same questions, which are, why do you believe this thing? What is some evidence that we have for this thing? Is there, objective justification for this thing? But no, I appreciate you interjecting, Dan. Thank you very much, because I will get run off in a tangent if I.
It's cool. I just want to make sure, because look, Chloe's whole thing, right? When they first called in, they said, look, part of the reason why I left this space is because I didn't feel accepted in this space, right? Like I'm a queer person, and I don't think they're being very accommodating, and I want to make sure we're fucking accommodating, right? Because it's like, hey, listen. Like, I get it. There's a bunch of shitty people online, and it was a shitty space back then. I look back at that. I wasn't a part of it at the time, but yeah, I look at some of the things that are out there, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to hang out with these guys either, right? And
Absolutely.
so, like, if the difference between you being interested in a community like ours versus not is, am I going to be accepted here? I want to make sure you're fucking accepted, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure, hey, I fight for your rights. I fight for queer people, women's rights, minority rights, whatever, because that was not a point of emphasis a decade ago, but it is now, and I want to make sure it continues to be, right? So anyway, that's my spiel there, Chloe.
No, I love that. I love that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Chloe, respond.
Oh, it's just an outpouring of love. How do you respond to that other than thank you?
Well, and I think let's circle it back, right? So before Dan brought us back on track, which I greatly appreciate. You had said, though, it looks like the work has been done. And so I was kind of hoping that you might even consider, hey, maybe the atheist community actually is for me. And it is. So I want you to know that there is room. Human rights are important to us. I think that we come to that conclusion just based on our skepticism. When we can't accept the things that were given to us along a religious doctrine, here we are left with looking into everything, kind of questioning all the things that we're told are right or are wrong. And we're left with this human rights question. And I think LGBTQ rights are human rights. And so therefore I'm forced to consider, well, what's right and what's wrong when it comes to that as well. And what's right is treating people with respect and understanding that, people are people. They deserve to share this space. Right? This little blue dot that we're all on, trying to figure everything out until we're not here anymore. And so, Chloe, there's room for you just to just kind of build upon what my two friends here were saying a minute ago.
Yeah. For me, and there's at the time, people were like, oh, it's all about the God belief, this other stuff that doesn't matter. But look, like leaving my religion, liberation from religion to me is so much more than just the God thing, because you can liberate yourself from a lot of beliefs that end up being intertwined with that religious belief, right? Like we often talk about the connection between political views, for example, and religious beliefs. They're absolutely intertwined, especially in the American idea of Christianity, right? And so it's like when you liberate yourself from a Christian belief, you're often liberating yourself from all kinds of other social views as well. And that is absolutely and definitely worth exploring, like in our space as well. So yeah, I just, again, just point of emphasis here. Like, yeah, I agree that there's absolutely room and space for people of all folks to come into having a conversation with us. And I appreciate you being willing to talk to us today, even though you don't identify with that. But yeah, that being said, I guess, I don't know, where do you want to take things from here, Jim? You want to go back to the...
I want to see what Chloe has to say, and then I want to get to some other calls. So Chloe, thank you so much for your call. And any reflections on what we've had to talk about today before we let you go?
Just want to say that more or less that I don't identify as an atheist anymore because of the experiences that I've had. It was not because of that because of Elevatorgate. It was the trusting the experiences that I've been having in my life and finally not running away from that. What I am here for, though, and what I will always be there for is the struggle. So if I am needed, I will be there. So, and I feel welcome.
Well, if you ever want to call and talk about what you believe and why, and let us kind of pick and poke and prod at your beliefs, then please call us back sometime.
Let's do that next time, Chloe, if you're down for it, because I'd love to talk about those experiences with you.
Yeah.
I would love to actually talk about them, but have a night.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Chloe, thank you so much for being a fan, being a contributor, and I can't wait to talk to you again.